soul of the game is at the Boxing Voice. Ain't no other sight in the game could see the Boxing Voice.
Shawn Porter, the Boxing Voice, here with one of the best welterweights in boxing, former world champion, Showtime, Shawn Porter. What's going on, Shawn?
Ain't seen you in a while, man. You know me, just sticking with the hard work and trying to make this fight easy.
It is awesome being in camp again. Thanks a lot for having us, man. This fight, simply put, is awesome. This is a great style matchup. I mean, you guys are both from Ohio. He's from Cincinnati. You're from Cleveland. This is guaranteed fireworks, isn't it?
It's guaranteed fireworks. Here's the thing. My dad trains me in a way that all I focus on is the fight. And so, honestly, I don't realize the magnitude that this fight has for the public and for boxing itself until it's talked about and it's mentioned, you know. So it's really cool to see, you know, how anticipated this fight has become. And I'm definitely up for the challenge. I am definitely appreciative for the opportunity, and I honestly just can't wait to get in there and do my thing.
And you mentioned the magnitude and the anticipation, and you were at Mayweather-Pacquiao, which was just at the MGM, and a month later?
Yeah, man, and someone put it to me like this yesterday, said, man, the summer can be yours, you know. Yeah. And the good part about it is I know it can be, you know. I know that I can go out there and do some things against this guy that are, you know, so elite and just so on another level that, you know, it has an everlasting impression, you know, hopefully not just this summer, but, you know, an everlasting impression on boxing for years to come. You know, I think that this fight has all of that in it. And I think, you know, when you talk about a Mayweather-Manny Pacquiao fight, I think, you know, in my personal opinion, I did think it was a great fight. There were just a few dry spots, you know, but overall, it may not have been exactly what everyone thought it was going to be, wanted it to be. I think this fight will. I don't let people down. You know, that's just one thing about me. I don't like to disappoint.
You always make for a great fight.
That's it. You know what I mean? So the great part about it is I have a style that is exciting. I have everything that it takes, the talent and the skill to make that make this a very great fight. Which in turn will leave you satisfied no matter what.
You know, where I was going with that was people worry about boxing and its well-being, and just a month after that fight, right in the same arena, the MGM, you have two in their prime American fighters fighting, going to sell the place out. What's that say about boxing, and what's that say about yourself as well as a draw?
First of all, I think for myself, it says no excuses, you know. Obviously, we all know what I went through with the Kell Brook fight, that coming up short of a victory. But, you know, I'm not afraid to get in there and mix it up with anyone, you know. I think that is a testament to myself and my team, and then it's a statement to all the boxing fans out there that, you know, I'm willing to do it, and I can tell you guys right now there are plenty others out there willing to do it, and that's why we have the PBC now, which is on, you know, big-time network television for all the fight fans out there and people who aren't even fight fans. You guys are going to tune in. You're going to see something that you've always wanted to see. You're going to see a level of talent that you just don't get to see on a daily basis. It's coming now, man. I'm excited to be a part of it.
Man, you talked about just now that setback, but you were in the gym a week or two after that. I was there. I remember that.
And we were talking yesterday about you know, things that I've taken from growing up in Cleveland and Northeast Ohio. You know, being here, you know, living a much better lifestyle, yada yada yada. What do I? Yeah, I've completely earned it, but you know, it's like what did I bring with me from Cleveland? The grind of working hard and knowing what it feels and how it feels to work hard. I eat what I eat not just to make weight, but because it's a grind, and I want to feel that grind leading into the fight, you know. So the calories are low. It's what's needed for this fight, but it's also to help with my mentality to get back to that grind and stay on that grind and stay hungry and stay wanting this fight.
You talk about that grind and you talk about being hungry, and is that an edge for you heading into this fight? Because Broner, there's been issues with motivation. That you talked about weight just now. His last fight he was about a pound over. Sometimes people, you know, you're a year-round athlete. It doesn't seem that way with Broner. Is that an advantage to you in this fight?
You know what? I can't speak for anyone else. I can speak for myself, and I know that we leading up to a fight and going into the ring, literally going into the ring, we try to tap every single decimal of my mentality that we can tap. Anything that could come up short or there could be some type of weakness, we make sure that it's out of there before we get to the fight, you know. So, you know, things like motivation and, you know, being motivated to get out and make weight and, you know, eat the right things, all that kind of stuff. What's lying ahead of you? For Team Porter, it's greatness. For Team Porter, it's legendary status, and that takes precedent over anything else, you know. So, along with being prepared for this fight physically and in shape and all that good stuff, I'll be just as in tune mentally and spiritually.
And also, you know, you talk about that weight, like we've mentioned already, but is making 144 pounds, is that a challenge? Is that a tough challenge that even if you might not want to admit it, it could take something out of you come fight night, those extra 3 pounds?
I honestly don't think it will, and here's why, and I can smile when I say this, man. I've just always been different. I've always been just something special about me, you know, from being 165 pounds running against 300-pound guys that a few of them actually made the NFL that I played football against, you know what I mean? Right. And, you know, hitting those guys, and you would never think that I would get up, you know, but I played for 4 years with no injuries, you know. Coming down to 147 pounds from 165 as an amateur, a lot of people still are asking me, this is 4, 5, 6 years later, still asking me, how'd you do it? How do you do it? And I simply go, I don't know, man. It's just the God in me. I'm just special. I can do it, you know. So I take that as, you know, knowing what I've been able to do up until this point. That's what I'm going to carry with me, the fact that I know that everything will be just fine.
And, you know, you guys are both talented, both in your prime, but what's going to separate the winner from the loser? You guys both have speed. You guys both have a lot of talent, and you're both in your prime. Is it that work ethic, possibly?
Yeah, it's all of it. You know, like you said, we're both in our prime, but I think, you know, I'm a little more versatile than Adrien. Adrien likes to be a bully. He knows he's not going to bully me. You will not bully me. Don't.
That is kind of his bread and butter. He likes to mix it up.
He likes to bully, and, you know, I'm not, you know, this is a fight. You know, he knows that. I know that. You know, we're both going to do everything that it takes to win this fight. You know, I respect him, and I know deep down he respects me. He knows where I come from, and the same for him, you know. So what's going to separate us, I think, entirely is just, you know, the work ethic, and then everything that comes behind the work ethic, the skill, the talent, all that kind of stuff.
And you talk about that you do have versatility, and some people, are they oversimplifying it, saying, you know, this is just the boxer against the puncher? And the other thing I want to get at is, if Adrien does start his colorful talk, you know, a little bit of trash talk, are you ready for all that?
Trash talk is no problem for me. I'll ignore it, and you know, it won't get to me at all. And you know, anyone saying that this is just a boxer versus puncher type of match, yes, it is that. But you know, anyone who has seen me fight knows that I got some tricks on my sleeve, some nice tricks I can pull out the bag, and I got a lot in my arsenal. So I got a lot to deal with.
Shawn, we can't wait for June 20th, man. Thanks a lot for having us today.
Thank you.
Have a good one.